everybody. Welcome to Sunday Reflection, and it is our weekly wrap-up time here at Strong Healthy Women. It's Peter, where we share hints, tips, and advice about the foundations of well-being, which are move, eat, and live. And today we have the lovely Sal and Sue with us. G'day, Sal. How are you going?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. It's a bit dark in your area.
In my
Yeah. Hello, Sue. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm on an iPhone today
That
and I haven't done that before, so hopefully it's all okay.
no,
fingers
it's
crossed.
brilliant. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of light there. Yeah. So we've used the phones before when we haven't been able to get in on the laptops and whatever. So yeah, it works perfectly, which is fantastic. So all week this week we have been talking about motivation. You know how you see those women who seem to have this consistency in their workouts and their healthy eating and the right type of mindset. And yet, for some of us mere mortals, we struggle with it. We have our ups and downs. And the first thing I want to say about that is, guess what? They would have ups and downs as well too. They're just not showing you those ups and downs. So they're only showing you the ups. They're not actually necessarily showing you the downs, because we are human and we do have a range of emotions, and we do have that roller coaster of a ride that happens when it comes to living our best life, healthy and fit and active. So yeah, we've given a few different tips along the way this week. Sal, do you want to pick up one of the biggest tips that you picked up?
The biggest tip I always go with this tip, and it's
Yeah,
just do it. But I want to go back to the one that you gave on
yeah,
Friday, and it was the 90
yeah.
second
90-second body emotion
motion.
rule. Yep,
Yes,
yep.
yes. Yeah, that was an interesting one, that one.
Yeah, so let's just do a quick recap on that. So what happens is when a challenge occurs in our life or something happens in our life, we have this reaction in our body, and it's where our cortisol levels go up and our hormones change. But it actually only lasts for 90 seconds. So what actually happens is anything after that is us reverting to habits or routines that we've created in our life. And those routines generally have come from our childhood. And and I did tell a bit of a story about that. So if anybody wants to have a listen to that, that was Friday's take on everything. So you can go back and have a little bit of a listen to what transpired there. So yeah, it really is taking that moment to step back and to think about what your reactions have been in the past and how you're still reacting in the same way, and so how you might actually change those reactions. So that's an important aspect of it. Now, Sue, what about you? Like, what insight do you have in regards to motivation?
Well, I think you're right in saying that we all have those times when we lack motivation, and even those people that look
Yeah.
like they're on top of it all, they do. And I always think about people like yourselves who coaching other people and having to stay up and motivated, even when perhaps we've got things going on in our lives that,
Mm. Yeah.
are dragging us down. And I always think, oh, who helps the coach to stay motivated? Because everyone's human and they need to, we all go through that. For
Mm.
me, I find that if I'm getting off track, I just reach out. I reach out
Yeah, good
to
point.
people and say, hey, look, I said I was going to do this, but you know what? I'm really struggling, and I just need a bit of help here and a bit of support. And some people don't like to do that because they think that they're a
No.
failure and that people are going to go, oh, well, you said you were going to do it and you're not. But I think for me, that really helps me. I just think I have to admit to myself, look, I just can't do this, or I'm not in the right mindset not in the right frame. And actually, I saw in the FitFlexes community earlier this week, and one of the ladies has been, really was open. She said, look, I'm just not in the right headspace, and she felt like she was drowning. And what I loved about that was that she was brave enough to put it out there, and she had a fabulous gift. I think she put up there about drowning in how you have those pools filled with balls or something, and it looked as if she was that it was drowning, and I thought that was really brave. But the other thing that I really loved was the immediate support from the rest of the community of women, all in there helping her, saying, come on, you've got this, or we're here for you. And so it wasn't just you and Sal that were giving me motivation and the come on, you've got this, the encouragement. It was the other women as well, and I just loved that.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, that's one of my favorite quotes. Behind every successful woman is, a team of other successful women who have her back, basically. And that's the thing about women. We are very generous and very caring of other people. And so when someone shows their vulnerability like Jess did, it certainly it helps everybody else shine as well. And the other thing about it is that she gets to know that she's not the only person who is feeling like that as well too. So we all have those moments. And I think that's the thing about motivation. And sometimes when it comes to exercise, when it comes to eating healthy, that motivation can, be that little thing dangling in the future that we just can't seem to get to. But there is something that goes like this, some trigger that we go, enough's enough. I've had enough. I'm actually going to do something. And look, I've seen those comments in the 28-day Fueled Up transformation where some of the ladies have actually, that they're being very honest and very frank about how they're feeling about different things. And, they're sharing that that's what happened. There was this little trigger, this little light bulb that went off and went, okay, I'm going to go in and do it, and I'll just do it. But then what I loved about it was other cell, so there's two cells in there, our cell and cell in the 28. So other cells, she actually said that she came into it going, oh, okay, I'm not really sure what I'm getting into, blah, blah, blah. But she was sort of like, in and out, but she went, okay, once she started to look at what was involved and everything, she went, you know what? I'm just going to give it 100%. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do 100%. I'm not going to complain about the fact that I can't have coffee for the first 2 days. I'm just going to do it. And wow, she's totally reaped the rewards. I mean, 3.4 kilos she's lost in a week. Now,
wow.
I know, that's amazing. So that's not your normal. Your average is usually that 1 to 2 kilos, because we like to look at it from something that we're doing slow and steady, so that you keep those improvements, you keep those habits for your life. So that's amazing. And look, the average has been around that 2 kilo mark, between that 1 to 2 kilos. But, I really do have to give a shout out to Tanya as well too, because she actually lost a massive 5.1 kilos.
Oh my goodness. Fantastic.
Yeah. That's amazing. So, it depends. So every one of us is a different shape and size. Some of us have been exercising, some of us haven't been exercising. So if you've never exercised, then all of a sudden you start exercising, you're going to get this big, push going forward. So you're going to see those results like that. And particularly if you haven't been eating healthy and now you start to eat healthy, again, you get that further push. The other thing I loved about it is that when we had our connect and check-in on Friday evening, everybody's sleeping better.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, Sal's putting the hand up, and Sal's in menopause as well too. And so menopause is one of those times that's renowned for actually not allowing us to sleep quite well as well too. So that's a massive thing to actually know that food has that bigger impact. Now we know it, but we don't necessarily think about it that much. And so I did notice that comment over in Women Over 50 Get Active and Healthy from one of the new ladies who's just come in as well too. She said that she has noticed that, you know, wine in particular is one thing going through menopause that is impacting her sleep as well too. And yeah, so it always comes back to listening to your body. Yeah, go for it, Sue.
Say, but you know, those Sally and Tanya, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, Tanya. Yeah.
I think another thing with motivation is when you start seeing results, that makes you more, you know, a bit more motivated. Because I know that it's easy, you know, like if nothing's happening, if you're going for whatever goal you're going for, whether it's losing weight or whatever in life, if you know, it's easy to lose your motivation if you can't see results happening. But I think when you see, you know, even if they're just little things, and as you say, Peter, celebrating just even the little gains that you've achieved, I think that really helps you keep your motivation. And also if you write them down and you look at them and you go, well, that's what I've achieved this week. And so I think that when we're actually achieving even little things, that helps us to keep motivated.
Oh, it totally does. One of the posts that I actually put up, I can't remember whether it was this morning or yesterday, one or the other, which was, what are you proud of this week? And, you know, like what recipes did you love? And Sal, do you want to share what you're proud of?
I cooked a meal.
You didn't cook one meal, you cooked many meals.
All my meals. I've cooked my meals. Yeah, so I cook. Like my children aren't here starving, you know, and having to get takeout every night. I do cook, but it is not my favorite thing in the world to do. But I found that this week, because my focus has changed, you know, we started on Monday. So I've been and I did put this yesterday, I've been very thoughtful with what I'm doing and embracing what I'm doing, you know. So it's every day I'm looking at what meals am I having today, what do I need to have prepared, you know, because I don't shop for the week, so I'll shop for a few days, you know, what's coming up, this is what I need. So I've been very thoughtful, you know, and I think that's helped me stay motivated and focused as well. You know? And
let me ask you a question that,
sorry, I just want to go back to Sal Vardy too, like Sal, the other Sal. You know, one of the comments that she made on Friday night when we did have our check-in and connect too was that she was blown away that the three of us are doing the program as well and that we're involved in it as well, you know. And I think that's probably a good motivator as well for her, you know, knowing that we're doing it with her and we're not just, what did she say? We're not just up there, you know, telling everybody what they have to do. We're here with them, doing it with them, and we're all, you know, interacting and pushing each other and that sort of thing. Sorry, what were you going to ask me, Peter?
I wanted to ask you a question about cooking. Are you enjoying the cooking process?
Oh, yes. And when I've made the meal, I just, you know, brag to everybody.
Instagram.
Sal did put up she did put up a brag post, everybody. Here I am with my meal that I prepared. Now, here's the thing about, you know, we created this 28-day Fueled Up Transformation probably about, it's got to be at least 3 years ago now.
Well, Alison did it 3 years ago, so yeah.
Yeah. And so if I go back through the results and have a look at the years and everything like that, I can see that. So yeah, it's that 3 years ago. Now I actually tried all this stuff out on myself to start with before that, because what I felt was I had been going through menopause. And, I went, I'm not going to be the person who puts on that average 7 kilos. Well, I did. And I went, this is just ridiculous. And so I was an avid walker. That's it. That's what I did. That was my exercise, walking, power walking. And so, my 30-minute walk went to 60 minutes, went to 2 hours. Now, who's got time for 2 hours? No one really. So I'd be walking in the middle of the night just to be able to get a 2-hour walk in, but it didn't actually help. And so that's when I first discovered strength training and the importance on the aging body. What I also discovered was that some of the foods that we ate when we were younger are not necessarily good for us, right? As we're aging. And so all the foods off the 28-day Fueled Up Transformation, they're all like real food. And, the whole family can eat them. So they're super delicious and everything like that. So, and that's all how it came about. And, your body just really, really feels so wonderful. It really does feel a lot more energized, and, you seem to appreciate it a lot more when you're firing like that. But what the other thing is that, when all this happened back in those days, Sel, I used to say to you, come on, Sel, try this out. And come on, Sel, try this out. And you would say, I don't cook. I'm not a cooker. I'm not a cooker. I don't cook, and, the hands would go up at me.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's exactly right. And so what I love so much about what you're proud of is the fact that you are cooking, but even better still, you're enjoying the process, because you've just discovered that cooking healthy meals can be easy. And so that means that because it's easy, you're going to keep doing it.
Yeah. And it is easy, like, everything is no more than half an hour, with what you're doing. It doesn't matter which meal it is. It's no more than half an hour, and if I was, cooking the kids' meals, whether that's steak and veg or whatever, that's half an hour as well. It's no different, it's just a flip on the food. This is what's happening. And I think also for me too, is that there's been little bits and pieces that have just been okay. We had, was it Ange Sinclair with gut health, talking about how important gut health is. There's been, and I've spoken with you about this before, Peter, about, I have to get that thought out of my head that I'm not that person that I was 10 years ago, when I initially lost all my weight from having my children. I think we tend to hold on to that a lot too. What worked in the past should still work for me now, but I'm not that same person. My body is not that same body. And then, the sleeping as well. Like, I can 100% tell you that in the past 6 days, I have woken up once in the middle of the night in 6 days. Now, prior to that, it was 4 or 5 times a night. There was a couple of months ago, I missed a FitFlex session because I was napping on the couch because I'd slept 4 hours in 48 hours, and it is absolutely the food. It absolutely is. It's, changing things in my body, and I'm getting those macros in, and I'm getting those micronutrients in, and I'm getting my vitamins and my minerals and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. They're not coming in a pill. I'm not having to go to the chemist and buy 57 different supplements to get those vitamins and minerals, because I'm getting it from my fruit and veg and my protein and my good fats.
Totally, totally. And so, Sue, let's move to you. So, what is it that you're super proud of? Because you've been doing this as well too.
Yes. Well, I'm with Sally Vardy on the coffee. So that was.
You're our coffee girls. Where's the coffee?
It's, like I need to. Well, I did feel I needed to start my day with a coffee. And so the first couple of days were a bit difficult. And then, of course, Peter says on Monday in the FitFlex session, "Oh, Sue, how you going?" And I said, "Oh, I haven't had a coffee." She said, "Good, go for the whole week without it." And you know me, if someone gives me a challenge, I have to say, "Yep, okay." So, but I tell you what, headache and bit grumpy and all of that. But as the week went on, I didn't miss it. And so I feel super proud about that, because I could have 2 or 3 coffees a day easily. And and it is something that you become addictive to. So I felt proud about that. And also, I think for me, what I'm getting out of it is that I do a lot of activity, as you know. I work out 3 times a week with you ladies. I actually take 2 classes, 6 and 7 on a Friday morning, and I do it with them. So that's 2 45-minute sessions. Plus I have my long runs and everything. And when I looked at the program, I was not eating enough. And I think that that's been a realization for me, that this week I've been eating more, and I haven't put on any weight, but I've had more energy. And yesterday I ran 34 kilometres and it's 63. I think that's pretty good. And not everybody has to do that. So don't think that, you got to start running and whatever. I'm just a bit quirky that way. But that's been what I've been proud of, the coffee. Because as far as the eating goes, we do eat quite healthy at home. And I like cooking. So making the recipes wasn't a challenge for me, but the coffee certainly was. And also eating more. But you have that all sort of written out. You know how you have like 10 o'clock and then you have breakfast, lunch, dinner, the snacks and everything else, which I would not have in a normal diet.
No.
And I think that that's been really helpful for me, and I've been sleeping better.
Yeah. And it's one thing that we know as trainers, and I know that I harp on this quite a bit, is that I know that most women are probably not eating enough food, because they think that they've got it, particularly if they're trying to lose weight, they think they have to eat less and move more. But that's not necessarily the case. When you eat more, you fuel your body. And if you eat properly, what's going to happen there is, you're going to stabilize those hormones that can be all over the place. You're going to increase your metabolism. You're going to help your body, its detoxification system, really process correctly. So there certainly are a lot of wins when you are eating healthy, that you will feel in your body. And I would imagine that you've got more energy now, Sue.
Yes, I do. And I'm not feeling that bloating. And trying to think of a polite way, but going to the toilet is better. I can't think.
You're allowed to talk. You can go and talk about pooping. We love talking it.
It's a natural thing. We all do it. But I find that that's improved out of sight. So, and I think that's also because I'm eating more and I'm eating better and healthier, and drinking more water, and the mojo, and the and maybe not the coffee, but so I've been pretty happy with the results. I think for me, I don't need to lose weight.
You don't need to lose weight.
I probably need to put on a little bit, but it's the energy, the sleeping, the rising to the challenge that Peter threw down. I hope she doesn't throw another one down this week. But the other thing I'm proud of is that the other thing that I alluded to at the beginning was that sometimes we're going through things in life and and we don't show it to other people. And this last week's been very challenging for me in the personal life, and my mind was all over the place and feeling overwhelmed and all of that. So I feel proud that I got through it all, even with all that going on. So, you know, we can do it. And just reading what the other ladies have achieved is just inspiring. And that's another thing that makes you motivated, seeing what other people are doing. And that makes you want to, you know, and you're not comparing yourself, but you go, oh, well, look at that. You know, that was really great. Now I can do that if I put my mind to it, you know.
So can I just ask you, going back to your coffee, because I know that Sal, when we were talking to her on Friday night, like for her, it wasn't about having the coffee, it was about a routine.
Oh, yeah. That was
her ritual. That was her daily ritual of the morning. Yeah,
that's exactly the same. You know, get up. Maybe I don't do it on my Strong Healthy Women mornings because after, you know, we start at 6 o'clock. But usually I will get up and it's sort of like a cup of coffee. You go on the balcony, you do your journal, you look at the ocean, which I'm very lucky to live by. And that was it. Yeah, it's more of a ritual.
A moment.
You know. So I think, but again, it goes to mixing up those habits that you get into.
Have you replaced it with something else? Because I know
water.
Just not just drinking water.
No water, because I hear again Peter's voice in our heads. You know, drink more water. So I just, my husband thought he said, you're not going to go all. What did he say? Not that he doesn't know all the terms, you see. So he goes, you're not going vegan on me, are you? I said, no, I'm just
eating.
Yeah, but
eating real food.
So water. I didn't replace it with anything else. So, and I found that after about the third day, I was fine. You know, could take it or leave it if someone put one there. But in the first couple of days, I think it's more the point of thinking, I've just said I'm not going to have that. And as soon as you say it, you want it. Do you feel like that?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think sometimes we go, oh, I can't have that anymore. So you go straight to that negative emotion of that negative and that fear of I'm never ever going to be able to have that ever again.
Yeah. And I mean,
it's chocolate or whatever it is, a sweet treat or whatever it is, we go to that fear and that negativity instead of, you know, Julie on Friday night, we were talking to her because she has a morning tea coming up, you know, and she was very
anxious about
going because there's going to be all this lovely food here, you know. So one of my tips was go in and just pretend you're allergic to everything.
But I think the other concern there is that people will go, oh, go on, you can have one. You know, and I mean, my husband gave up alcohol. It's about 2.5 years ago now. And I joined him and I didn't have any problem with that. I mean, and he's done so well, you know, because of that. And that's something that you have to say, well, I'm not having that anymore. But yet the coffee was a bit more difficult for me.
Yeah, because it was that
Yeah.
ritual
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
the morning
yeah,
of getting up
yeah.
and going out on the balcony. Yeah, yeah.
So there's a couple of things that I wrote down as you were talking there, Sue, that I want to sort of like go back to. The first thing is that I love that ritual that you have, which is to go onto the balcony and journal and to just enjoy, you know, the scenery that you've got there. The coffee has become part of that routine. You know, that's not to say that you couldn't have like a herbal tea. You know, you replace it with that. So here's the thing around coffees. What you want to do is it's around about 5 a week. So you go, okay, I'm only going to have 5 per week, and I'm always going to have them before 1 p.m. You certainly don't want them first thing in the morning because they do mask your natural energy levels. And so, and the same applies to black tea and green tea. You don't want them first thing in the morning. You want to allow your body to have its natural responses that it has. And it is always difficult when you're cutting those things out because I was a tea drinker. So I've never been a coffee drinker, but I definitely drank tea. And when you cut those things out, you do go through those withdrawal processes as well too. So so you just want to create yourself that new routine and allow yourself still to have your coffees, but you know, you think about them being a moment where you can just sit and enjoy them as well too, which is what Sal actually did say, that that's what it was all about for her. It was that moment where she just sat and she enjoyed it, which I love, because for many of us, we will drink coffee or tea and we'll just be doing it at our desks or on the run. Whereas she is actually enjoying it as a moment, which is really, really super, super important. Now, you also mentioned pooping, which I do like the topic of pooping, because for many of us, we will go 2 or 3 days before we go to the bathroom. You know, you do want to be going at least every day. And that's what's important. And you know, I always love when I chatted with Ange Sinclair, who's the digestive detective, and she said, always look at your poops. Always turn around and have a look at them because you'll notice if there's a difference there. And it is so true because they actually tell you how your system's processing. So not a great topic, you know, people probably are going, oh, really? But it's very, very true. You know, you will notice unusual changes. And one of the things is in regards to, you know, a colonoscopy. If you noticed, you know, that there was any blood in your stools, then you know that you need to go and get it checked out. So just looking at what's going in your body and what's coming out of your body is really, really important to us. So, oh, that was big topic. Okay, so I just want to recap on some of the girls, what they've said. So, Julie actually said not snacking all day in between meals. Now, this was such a big thing for me. When I saw that comment, I went, okay, that explains it. You know, that's why she's, you know, been feeling like she's been feeling like. Julie's been in our FitFlex community for a very long time. And you know, she hasn't been firing on all cylinders. You know, admittedly, she's been having some personal stuff go on as well too, but you could see there was some type of other strain on her. And so she's reverting to that eating food to comfort her. And so she's cut that out. That's massive. That's massive that
And
she's not snacking anymore.
she's such a giver, you know, so she wouldn't burden anybody with, you know, what's going on in her life because she would be so focused on helping everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. That's exactly what she does. And then, you know, there were other things like someone else said that they had reduced cravings. Can you remember who that one was?
No.
I can't either. Pat? Someone told me. No.
Andy.
No, it wasn't Anne.
I can't remember.
Anne was talking about getting organised. So there's been a few different comments around the organisation and planning as well too. So by being more organised and by doing the planning, it means that every day has been a lot easier for them. And it's so true. So when we try to fly by the seat of our pants when it comes to our healthy life, then it can be something that's a challenge. You get home and you go, what am I going to eat? You know, and so you'll go for something easy and you won't actually think about it. Whereas if you've got it planned out, you go, okay, this is what I'm eating. If you don't feel like eating it, well, then you don't necessarily have to eat it, but you know, it is planned, and that's an important aspect of it as well too.
Yeah. It was Andy with the reduced cravings.
Oh, okay, good memory then.
Yeah, she said she I'm actually in the page. She realised she wasn't eating enough, so she's obviously had that connection of not eating enough, getting those cravings. So.
Okay, yeah, and that's one of the craving creators that we're going to be talking about in our free group, Women Over 50, Get Active and Healthy, later on in the week as well too. So later on in the month. So yeah, that's a very good one that she's identified that, and it's so true. When we don't eat enough, we'll crave more. Yep. When we're feeling emotional, we'll crave more. When we don't get enough sleep, we crave more. So all of those things take us away from it. And I also love like some of the comments around some of the girls who are working out with us for the first time as part of the 28-day Fueled Up transformation. And they're actually talking about how it's just the right amount. So it's the right amount to be able to get their heart rate up so that they don't feel like it's not doable. And they love the way that they get that stretching and that downtime at the end of it. So they walk away like they're feeling calm, they're feeling energized, ready to cope with their day, but they're also feeling pretty super pumped with themselves because they actually have got that workout done as well.
Can I just say too, as an observation from Friday, because I do the classes with you Monday and Tuesday, and then I take the Friday morning, and I actually gave them, as Sal will know, a fairly challenging one on Friday. We did a ladder, but it was quite challenging, and I just noticed the energy that they all had, the ones that are doing the 28-day, from the beginning of the week to the end. And, you know, they just blitzed through that one. I mean, it was a challenge. It was a challenge for me, and I thought it might be a bit too much of a challenge for them, but they all did it really well, didn't they, Sal? They just busted through. And I think we ended up doing about a couple of hundred spider climbers. And they wouldn't have even thought about that. If I'd said we're going to do 200 at the beginning, they'd have had oh my God, I can't do that.
No way.
But they got in and they did it. And everybody, I thought, was at a new level, a new energy level. So I think that's sort of helpful as well, that they've got that energy from eating well, sleeping well, and working out at least 3 days a week. So
totally.
I was pumped after those sessions. It was really inspiring for me. So, you know, it was really good.
And that's the other thing that you mentioned earlier as well, too. When you see comments about what other people are achieving, you get inspired by it. Now, that can go one way or the other as well, too, depending on the type of person that you are. When you read about someone else achieving, and you are that person who compares yourself, then you can go, oh, it's all right for them. They've got this, or they can do that, or I can't, you know. So it starts to have a negative impact on you. So that's one aspect about motivation that we have been talking about this week is please don't compare yourself to somebody else, because we are uniquely ourselves. We are individuals. And what we are capable of doing is uniquely us. It's not about that next person. We want to challenge ourselves to improve, but it's not about being able to be like the other person. So it's really important to, as you've done and mentioned, Sue, there, you look at those comments and you get inspired and go, oh, I hadn't thought about it that way. Let me harness that thought to motivate me to move myself forward. So, and that's a really important aspect as well too.
And I think
And
it's also a point of not making it all about you either. Feeling good for that person who's maybe achieved something this week, and thinking, wait, and supporting them and congratulating them and encouraging them, rather than thinking, oh, I couldn't do that or whatever. You've got to have a positive attitude. You've got to have an open attitude. And that way you will feel inspired then, because everybody's helping each other, and that's what it's all about, really.
And I think that goes along too with the weight loss or the centimeter loss or the body fat loss, anything like that. Not comparing yourself with everyone else, and saying, oh, well, I only lost 1 kilo. No, you didn't. You lost 1 kilo. I only got to do 3 workouts this week. Well, no, you did 3 workouts, because you could have done no workouts. So I think you need to drop that I only did.
And also I think
you've still done something, and you've still achieved something, and there's still something there to celebrate.
But the other thing is, Sal, that maybe some weeks it might not be your week, and for whatever reason you don't see a change. That doesn't mean that changes aren't happening within your body. It just, so that's the other thing, that you don't get hung up on the numbers too much. You just keep committed to the plan, keep following it, and then you'll see the results. But, for whatever reason, some weeks you might not lose anything if you're losing weight. But you've got to think of all the other benefits. What do you call them? The non-scale victories as well.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. And I do want to give a mention to one of the posts that I did put up in our free group, Women Over 50, Get Active and Healthy, which was, okay, so you can only choose between one or the other for the rest of your life. What are you going to choose? And I had a picture of blueberries and strawberries. And it was interesting for me to actually see blueberries basically have blitzing blueberries. As far as what's the most popular in that group. So it's been really, really interesting. The other aspect of that was, it got me thinking about, for me, it's strawberries. That's the thing that I would choose. It wouldn't be blueberries. It would be strawberries. Now, I have blueberries a lot in my smoothies and everything like that, but am I going to sit down and eat a punnet of blueberries? Probably not. Would I eat a punnet of strawberries? Yeah, I would. And so that's how I came up with the conclusion that it was strawberries for me. And so I cast my mind. So everything we do goes back to our childhood, like, let's face it. And so I cast my mind back to my childhood and went, okay, did you have blueberries as a kid? No, never. I think I was 40 before I had a blueberry. So it's not something.
Really heard of them.
No, well, there you go. Yeah, no, me too, Sue. And so, but we had strawberries because we had our own veggie patch, we had our own fruit trees and all that type of stuff. So, it was definitely strawberries was the winner for me. So, and that was interesting to do that. But the other poll that I just put up recently, so we haven't finished with this, it's just started. And it was a poll about how many of you have aches and pains, and how many don't have aches and pains, and I was expecting there would be a large percentage with aches and pains, and so everybody's been sharing what type of pains they have. So if you're sitting at home today thinking, I can't exercise because I have osteoporosis, or I have arthritis, or, that there is some type of pain in your shoulder, I'm here to tell you that you can actually exercise. It's just a matter of finding that right place that gives you exercises, gives you modifications that enables you to still exercise with that particular injury or that ache and pain, and understands them. So, yeah, watch this space to see what the results end up being. So it's pretty high. Yesterday, when I had a quick glimmer, it was something like 66% compared to 33%. But I think that aches have crept up today. So we'll have a look later on. Okay, so let's finish up. Sue, any final thoughts for you?
No, I think we've covered everything. I just think you're running you know, you stay the course, keep your goal in mind, and as I said, started out with, don't be afraid to reach out if you're struggling, because you're not a failure.
Perfect.
You've reach out and you'll get the support.
Totally love that. So what about you?
I was just going to say the same thing, like find that support group, you know, that group that is going to connect and interact with each other. You know, we're often telling our insiders, you know, and our 28-day Fueled Up ladies, don't be afraid to ask the question, because someone else may have the answer, or someone may have a solution to something. So find that connection and interact with it.
And that's a good point on the questions, because we did say up front, you know, post your questions. But what I found in the first instance was the emails were coming through with the questions. And so I would just email back and say, I'm going to take this in and I'm going to put it up in the group because other people will benefit from it. And now, like, the emails aren't coming through. They're all just posting in the group and asking their questions, because they know now they're seeing all the comments come from everybody else. They're going, okay, yeah, my question does help somebody else, and it helps me as well. So, and that's what's important. So, yeah. I think I want to wind it back when it comes to motivation and go, you know, if right now you are sitting at home telling yourself, I don't have the motivation to do this, I want you to simply take 3 deep breaths and think about, if you do nothing, what will happen in your life? If you do something, what will happen in your life? Because you'll find that when you think about, if you do something, what will happen, you're going to reap the rewards, and you'll know that will give you that little edge to be able to take that first step. And that's what you need, is that edge to be able to take the action. So, and know that you've got support. So, you know, come into our free group, Women Over 50, get active and healthy, and just say, I'm just starting out, and we'll be here for you. So that's it for us today. Thanks, Sal and Sue, for joining me. Really appreciate it.
Welcome.
Great.
You're welcome.
Great wrap up for the week.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. All right, ladies, take care, everybody, and we will see you all on Monday. Take care, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.
Have a lovely Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Sue. Bye, Peter.
Bye. Bye-bye.